I want to talk a little bit about what happens when you ask the universe for a whole new life, because what comes after the intention of change will make you feel like you're on the wrong path, or you've made the wrong decision, or your life is falling apart. What needs to happen for you to step into a new version of yourself is a period of resistance. So your habits, your thoughts, your emotions have got to where you are today. However, you have a vision for the future. You have your higher self in mind. There is a goal that you want to achieve. There is a person that you want to become. And without this resistance, you won't become or have that end goal. And the reason for that resistance is actually preparation. So what that might look like is you asking the universe for a whole new life. 3 months later, you might lose your job, which is exactly what had happened to me. I wasn't happy in the career that I was in, and I set the intention. I asked the universe for an entire new life, but in order for that to materialize and happen, everything around me that was holding that reality in place needed to fall apart. Now, whilst I was in the midst of being let go from my job, I felt horrendous. I felt worthless because I tied my productivity, my worth to the commission that I earned each month in a sales job. I tied my value and my worth to my job. I was always looking for validation in my career that I was doing a good job, whether it be from my manager, my peers, the recognition. And all of a sudden, I started to realize that something isn't right. I don't want to be in this career. I don't feel fulfilled. I feel so trapped. I feel like I'm not using my brain. My energy is wasted. My attention is wasted. And what I'm doing is not making me feel fulfilled and happy. This was kind of the catalyst to this whole journey a couple of years ago, because by shedding the identity that I had attached to my career, I was faced with myself. You know the saying, wherever you go, there you are. I never kind of understood that until I was in it and I moved through it, because we actually have our blinkers on when we're going through something that feels awful, that feels unsettling and unnerving because of the decisions that you've made or didn't make, or you kind of feel like life is happening to you and like you don't have any control. But looking back on that situation now, and I'm sure you've had this with your life, in the midst of all of that happening, you can't see why it's happening. Like a relationship breaking up and you leaving that person and you being heartbroken, thinking that you're never going to find love again. And then you meet somebody else and realize, actually, that breakup saved my life because I realized that I was in the wrong space. This is what happened to me with my job. This is what happened to me with smoking. I subconsciously knew that smoking wasn't part of the identity that I wanted to keep a few years ago. And I literally started throwing up every time I had a cigarette. And over the course of 3 days, trying one cigarette after another and throwing up, I realized actually this isn't what my body wants. So consciously or unconsciously, these small timeline shifts are taking place. And what you will feel on your side is the resistance to allowing that to happen. So shifting identities is not for the faint of heart. But if you have courage and you're brave, you can face the resistance going through what feels like turmoil whilst you shift your timeline. And when you set yourself goals, you are going to come up with excuses of why you can't fulfill them. And you might sabotage yourself over a period of time because your new identity and your old identity are now at play. Your old identity has got momentum. It loves the way that things are going right now because it feels safe. You have to slow that momentum down in your old frequency and invest more energy and concentration on your new frequency, on your new identity. But the problem with that is, as people, we are going to be faced with human challenges. We are going to be faced with self-sabotage, with self-doubt, with fear. And these are going to come up hidden in your daily behaviors. You won't even realizing that you're operating from this frequency. And you're going to oscillate between the two. You're going to have periods of deep motivation and discipline whilst you invest your energy into your new frequency. But there are going to be times where your old frequency draws you back in. This is not permanent. And once you surrender to that process without beating yourself up or having shame around it, you get to see the lesson within that. You might be wanting to start a project right now, but you keep avoiding what you need to be doing. You know that the needle moving tasks are in the small things that you do every single day, but yet you aren't doing them because the old frequency, your old energy is drawing you back. The sooner you can realize that happens for a reason, the sooner you'll surrender to the process and actually just get into a state of flow and allow it to happen. And look at that resistance, look at that challenge as an opportunity to learn something about yourself. Because without you understanding where and why your resistance is there, you miss out on the opportunity of learning a valuable lesson to be able to move through that. And also, you stay stuck in this vortex of avoidance. I realized, having a look at my own journey, it wasn't necessarily fear that was holding me back, although that was the emotions that I felt taking big leaps. It wasn't necessarily self-doubt only, but the action for those two sensations in my body was avoidance. I would avoid picking up my phone. I would avoid creating content. I would avoid a conversation with a friend. I would avoid things in order to allow the excuses to be everything but myself. When you surrender to the resistance, you realize that what you were doing was avoiding the things that you needed to do because they were the perfect excuse for things not working out for you in your life. Would you rather take action, things not work out, you fail forward, you refine and progress, whereas always staying in this vortex of avoidance, you aren't going to put the reps in, you aren't going to progress, to learn, to evolve, to be the person that holds the things that you want to create in your life. So get out of the vortex of avoidance. You might feel scared, you might feel doubtful in your capabilities, but by your emotions and your feeling, it's creating the action of avoidance. Surrendering to that resistance, the resistance of avoiding, the resistance of continuing your bad habits, the resistance of partying every weekend when you know that you want to focus on your goals, or drinking when you know that you want to slow down, or smoking when you know that you want to stop, or not going to the gym when you know that you want to move your body, to move the energy that's within you. All of these micro moments in your day to take action are the promises to yourself that your subconscious witnesses. Every time you break a promise to yourself, that means not going to the gym when you said that you wanted to go, not writing that blog when you said you wanted to sit down and write that blog, not taking action on your content, not having the hard or tough conversation, not going to whatever it might be, by you saying that you want to do something and not doing it, your self-trust breaks. If you had a friend that kept on arranging to meet you for coffee but never showed up, after the second or third time, do you think you would want to meet them for coffee? Probably not, because it's just inevitable. They're going to waste your time. So that friendship starts to dissipate. It's exactly the same principle with your subconscious mind and your self-trust. You build confidence in your ability to do things by building your self-trust, which means keeping promises to yourself. So I want to ask you, what emotions are you avoiding right now? because avoidance, the vortex of avoidance, is exactly what's keeping you where you are and not progressing. So, what emotions are you avoiding? If you're radically honest with yourself, your conscious mind might say, "Oh, I'm not avoiding anything, I can't do this." That is your conscious mind. If you go a layer deeper to your subconscious and you really feel those emotions that you are avoiding, or the stories that you're telling yourself of why you can't do something, those are exactly the emotions that are going to be your compass to your next level. Negative emotions aren't actually negative as in bad. They are the lower vibrational emotions on the consciousness scale. They are part of your human expression. Staying in a high vibe and a positive vibe 24/7 is not sustainable and actually super unhealthy. When you look at these lower vibrational emotions, they're a signal to what you need to work on and how you need to move through and progress to your next level. So don't shame yourself, don't hate yourself, accept that is exactly where you need to be. So I want you to look at those emotions, use them as a compass, but let them go. Don't attach a story to them. You'll realize that part of your journey, you're going to see places, people, environments that you no longer resonate with, and they will slowly start dropping out of your life. That just means that you aren't allowing your energy to be leaked to things that are draining you. So, looking at your resistance, looking at these periods of self-sabotage as your compass of what you need to let go of in order to reach that next level. And that next level might be literally one decision away, one thought, one action, one intention from where you are currently, because you are so powerful in what you can create around you that when you concentrate your energy on the things that you want to draw in, the universe, your reality will start conspiring in your favor. And that's why in moments of your old frequency drawing you in, your old habits coming up, self-sabotaging behaviors present themselves, notice them, but detach from them. Realize that actually that is literally your old frequency kicking and screaming, trying to get you back because you feel unsafe. But that is an old belief. You now know stepping into the reality that you desire might be the unknown, but that doesn't make it unsafe. That makes it exciting. That is the opportunity for you to evolve, stepping into the unknown. Right now, you're in the known. You're self-sabotaging, you're listening to the resistance, you're staying in looping in circles. Whereas when you detach from the old frequency, pulling you in, and that actually, let me just gear my attention this way and go in the direction where I can start creating and molding the reality that I so deeply know that I am inherently worthy of. Look back and do an inventory of what hasn't worked out, and afterwards you being able to realize then in hindsight, actually there's a reason why that didn't work out, and use that as evidence to prove to yourself and your subconscious mind that if things aren't going the way that you want them to right now, when you make decisions to become the person that you know you want to become, resistance will come up. Self-sabotage, doubtful thoughts, emotions to put you into this vortex of avoidance. So you avoid everything that you need to do, that you need to feel in order to evolve, and then you stay stuck. Now that you know that, use that and expect it to happen. And when things feel like they are in turmoil, do your best to surrender, do the work, but stay committed to the journey. Get straight back to it without an attachment to shame of why you might have fallen off track in the first place, because you can drop the ball multiple times as long as you pick it back up. It doesn't matter what you're experiencing right now or how long you have been in this rut. If you can make a promise to yourself that each day you're 1% better and you recommit to the journey, you can't fail. You genuinely can't fail when you commit to yourself and start doing the work and just start enjoying. Like, get excited for the next level, no matter what you're experiencing right now, because you are inherently worthy of all of the joy, of all of the happiness, even if you can't see it right now. But it's a process. You like, what are those things that's on the top of a piano going back and forth? Pendulum. I think it's a pendulum. You can go back and forth to the old frequency, to the new frequency, to the old frequency, and that is actually completely normal. That's part of the process. And slowly you'll be staying in the new frequency a little bit longer, and the old frequency will actually be the new frequency because now you've completely quantum leaped into a new reality. So now you have new challenges, you evolved, you've got new problems, you're asking yourself new questions, and you'll look back and think, oh my goodness, I needed to go through that in order to learn that lesson. So don't stop believing in yourself. Don't stop putting effort and energy into yourself. Don't stop learning. Don't stop questioning. Don't stop being excited. That's one thing that I've realized over the last year for me, I didn't do enough of, is like, get excited because shit's going to go down and you're going to absolutely love it. But get ready because your vessel, your body, your mind, your heart needs to be ready for that next step. And you can't hate yourself into your next step, unfortunately. That is something that needs to be left behind. You can only love yourself into that next step. You can only love, give yourself compassion. That's how your vessel grows. Have you ever seen the experiment where people speak to a pot of rice, hateful words, and then you speak to a pot of rice, positive words? And they've also done this with plants. Words, actions, intentions are spells, and they will set you up for failure or set you up for success. So love yourself, give yourself compassion into growing and experiencing this human experience on earth. That's what I personally find so profound, is that we're not here forever, and the way that we unlock like these next levels is through inside work, is through understanding who you are on a core level and understanding the process. Like if we were given these ingredients, if we were given these like steps when we were at school, I'm going to talk about school a lot throughout these lessons because these are the lessons that I needed way back when. If somebody sat down with me and said, your mind can control whatever reality you want to create, I would have been a million years ahead of where I am now. But now that I have learned this and I'm learning it, I want to share this with as many people as possible. So I hope that this lesson has helped. Like these are the rules of the universe. Like focus your attention on what you desire and what you want to create, not what you don't have and what you don't want. That's the key. Imagine what life would be like not being conditioned to suffer, not being conditioned to doubt, not being conditioned to look at adversity and challenges as the end of the line. Because understanding that challenges, adversity, no matter what it is, no matter how serious it is a gateway for you to heal and evolve and help the next person. It's like this just beautiful flowing cycle. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed today's session. I am excited for you on this journey, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode.